Joining me now is Ras Baraka, mayor of Newark, and a Democratic candidate for governor of New Jersey. Mayor, it's good to have you on the program. First, just as someone who was there that day, your reaction to the announcement of these charges.
Oh, honestly, I think the Congresswoman will be vindicated. When people see the video from the beginning to the end, you'll see actually what happened in there. This is a lot of theater that's going on. It's been going on for some time. And obviously, when this thing gets to court, I think she'll be completely vindicated. I didn't see her do anything wrong while she was there at all. All I hear was people yelling, get your hands off her, get your hands off her, get your hands off her. I mean, that's what sticks in my head the entire time.
I want to play for you what the president said today defending this. He had some interesting words. He kept talking about woke, somewhat inexplicably, but I'm going to play it for you and have a look, and I want to get your response. This is what the president said.
With the arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman.
Oh, give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control.
Did you address
those days are over.
Did
the
you
days
tell her
of
to do
woke.
that?
The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order.
Do you understand why the president said the days of woke are over in reference to criminal charges against a sitting member of Congress?
Right. Being woke is not a crime. It's actually the opposite of being asleep. It means being aware and being focused and understanding what's going on around you. I mean, the fact that he used that kind of identifies that this is political. The target of it is political. It's political retribution. It is focusing on people who he thinks disagrees with him, his philosophy, the direction he wants to take the country. It's saying woke and along with criminal charges at the same time really kind of devalues the whole process in the first place. And it really speaks to this kind of authoritarianism that we're experiencing in this country right now.
You were arrested on that day, and I think somewhat inexplicably, they said you were trespassing. And then this sort of turn of events in which those charges against you were dropped right before these charges are announced. I want to read to you what the acting U.S. attorney in New Jersey had to say. After extensive consideration, we have agreed to dismiss Mayor Baraka's misdemeanor charge of trespass for the sake of moving forward. In the spirit of public interest, I've invited the mayor to tour Delaney Hall. The government has nothing to hide at this facility. I will personally accompany the mayor so he can see that firsthand. Do you understand why the charges are dropped, or are you going to get into that facility?
Well, I mean, the charges were baseless, and I'm thankful that we agreed that they should be dropped. Right? We are going to get in the facility, and I would love to have a tour, but it's not about me touring it. I mean, it's not Disney World. We were there basically to get the inspections done. They began to let our inspectors in. We're still in court arguing and about the idea of them needing a certificate of occupancy in order to move forward. That was our basic contention from the beginning, and the fact they weren't letting our inspectors in. And this was a conflict we were having with the GEO Group and not with the government or ICE, because GEO Group owns the property. So our contention was with them. How it turned into all of this is beyond me.
Yeah, just to be clear, the GEO Group is a sort of third-party vendor and contractor, does a lot on the immigration side, and in terms of immigration detention facilities. They own that property. They run that property. It was your contention that they did not have a certificate of occupancy, which folks, I think, who've ever run a business or apartment or house know, you need to have one. So, and your municipal inspectors were not let in, and you're just saying that they're just out of line, like they are out of code with the city of Newark at a basic sort of boring, mundane municipal level.
100%. And they're arguing that they have a certificate of occupancy for almost 20 years ago. We're saying that that's invalid, and they need to go through the process. And it's okay for them to disagree with us, but we have instruments in place when people disagree. It's called the court, right? Courts make decisions about which way we go forward, who's right and who's wrong. Nobody else has the right to make that decision except a judge, and we were in the process of doing that, in fact. And they made a decision to do what they did. So, and we're still in court, as a matter of fact.
Now, my understanding, is it right, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but that you were offered a plea deal by this acting U.S. Attorney Alina Habba on your own charges, and you said, no, I didn't do anything? Is that right?
No, I mean, ultimately, the lawyers discussed what it would mean to drop the charges, and we agreed together to drop those charges, to dismiss them. And we got to an amenable place, and we did it, right? And so I'm glad that they made the decision to do that. I thought the charges were baseless in the first place. And so we get a chance to move on. But unfortunately, we have to now organize around what's going on with the Congresswoman, who is the representative of my district, Congressional District Number 10, who is now under these more baseless kind of accusations as well.
Yeah, I want to just read what the Congresswoman said this morning about, she basically says, look, they're trying to get me to plea, to roll over, right? And I didn't do anything wrong. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Well, the Justice Department and Alina Habba wanted me to admit to doing something that I did not do, and I was not going to do that. Once again, I came there to do my job and conduct an oversight visit, and they wanted me to say something differently, and I'm not doing that.
Do you agree with that characterization? I imagine. Do you think it's a good idea that she not plead to something?
Yeah, I don't think she did anything. I mean, and you can't make people confess to something they didn't do. That's what we have court for. I think the video was clear. There's enough witnesses that were there, and I think that she's going to be vindicated. I think it's silly. And in the overall sense, as was stated on this, is a kind of weaponization of the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office, to target individuals because they disagree with them. And that's really authoritarian, and we should get away from that as far away as we possibly can.
Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, who was there that day, apprehended and then released. Charges dropped within the last 24 hours. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.